So it is here. Waves nationwide came out this weekend at my theater, and we're here to review it. So let's go.
You know I said that I am better now, better now. I only say that 'cause you're not around, not around.
Yes, the long-awaited Waves movie by Trade Edward Schultz, I think is his name, right? I'm gonna check. Hold on. The Waves. Yeah, I think it's Trey Edward Schultz. He did a great job with this movie. Yeah, I gotta admit, Trey Edward Schultz wrote, direct, and produced Waves, starring Kevin Harrison Jr. as Tyler, starring Lucas Hedges as Luke. Oh my God, am I still on a freaking Irishman? Sorry. Starring Taylor Russell as Emily Williams, Alexa Demai as whatever.
Sorry, I didn't find a device named my ass.
What? All right. Yeah, it's starring a lot of people, so you get the idea. Starling Kimball as the daughter, the father. Clifton Collins Jr. as Bobby Lopez. He's in a lot of movies. And yeah, this movie's great. I mean, really, really great. Superbly great. Phenomenally great. I have my nitpicks, though. I'm going to have some negatives towards the end, because this isn't a flawless movie, as much as Zach Pope likes to believe it is. The main reason I went to so see Waves because of Zach Pope. Zach Pope, this is his favorite movie of the year, and I get why. This movie is astounding. It's just astounding, bro. This is definitely Trey Edward Schultz's best movie, and granted, he hasn't made a lot. The only other movie he really made was It Comes at Night, which is also a really great movie. But I gotta say, guys, Trey Edward Schultz did an amazing job with this film. It's written, the script is phenomenal, the story is phenomenal, the characters are phenomenal. Everything about this movie is phenomenal. So I'll get on the positives because it has a lot. Now, is it as good as I Am Mother? No. Is it as good as Endgame? Obviously not. Is it as good as Joker? Clearly not. I mean, Zach Pope kind of overrated this film a little bit, but I get why he loves it. It's definitely his type of movie. I love Waves. It's a great movie. I gotta admit. I gotta admit. The filmmaking on this is superb. The cinematography, especially. I mean, some of the cinematography shots in this movie are like amazing. I'm looking up. Drew Daniels is the cinematographer for this, and my gosh, some of the camera angles and choices that Drew Daniels made is like really great. Like he didn't have to go the extra mile, but he did. It was like wow. And the editing, of course, by Trey Edward Schultz did the editing. Of course, the editing is phenomenal. AC4 did the production. They're great. Music. Two people did the music. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. And their music is great. Like you get emotional at points. Granted, I didn't cry at any points in Waves, mainly because so much stuff was happening. I'm telling you, this movie goes from 0 to 100, and like it just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It's a crazy movie. I mean, I loved it for being crazy, but it's awesome. Seriously. And yeah, what more can I not be said? The acting was great. It's just so much great stuff about it. I mean, just go watch it. It's freaking great. I don't know what more you want me to say. I mean, there's really much I can criticize about it. I'm going to get into some negatives in just a bit, but I'll keep complimenting it. So, basically, to summarize, without spoiling anything, it's basically about this family, and it's focused on the two kids, which is one of the negatives I have for the movie, but it's focused on the two kids, so Tyler and Emily. The first half of the movie is dedicated to Tyler, and the second half of the movie is dedicated to Emily. So in a way, it's set up like Moonlight, where Moonlight was this kid's life, like 3 different phases. Like 3 acts of the movie are dedicated to each of the kids' life, like the main character's life. But in this movie, the first half of the movie is dedicated to Tyler, and the second half is dedicated to Emily. So it's pretty cool what they do with what Trey did with the movie. It was pretty neat. Like wow, because when I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I'm like just not going to know anything about the sister, because the first half of the movie is all about Tyler. So I'm like, are we just not going to talk about the sister at all? But no, the whole second half of the movie is dedicated to freaking his sister Emily. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, Trey. I didn't think you were going to do that. Because there's one point in the movie where you think the movie's going to end, and it's like, well, I guess the movie's over, right? Well, no, because the second half is completely about Emily. So I'm like, okay, great. Now that's a negative I'm going to get into a bit, but I digress. So the movie's still phenomenal, regardless of what you think of it. You got to give the man respect. This movie is like emotionally driven, powerful stuff, great messages. Just this movie's all around great. Now, I'm going to get into some negatives now. And don't hate on me for what the negatives I'm going to say, because as a critic, as a movie reviewer, a YouTuber, you're a critic guy, I have to note the flaws, because most movies have flaws. There's barely a time I give a movie a 10 out of 10. Only 15 movies have gotten that. So, here are my negatives for Wait, so one of the main negatives I have is the lack of focus on the parents. Now, that's kind of a nitpick. I know the parents aren't the focus in this movie, but it's hard for me to get connected to them when they're like kind of background characters in this movie. Like the actors did a great job playing them. Sterling K. Brown and Renee as Goldsberry, they did an awesome job portraying them, and they're great. But they're not the focus of the movie, so it's hard to get emotionally connected to them when they just don't really appear in the movie as much as you wanted them to. I thought the whole movie was going to be about the entire family, but instead it's mostly focused on Tyler and Emily, which I'm glad Trey did because it made us way more emotionally connected to them. But at the same time, they focused on them too much, and if the movie was just a little longer, like 10 or 20 minutes longer, I think we would have had more time to dedicate to the parents and their relationship, and we would have been more emotionally connected to them. But unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time with them in the movie. It was mostly focused on Tyler and Emily, which, okay, I'm glad he focused on them, but it's just hard to emotionally connect with the parents because they're barely in it. So it's like, okay, but they're great in the movie, though, regardless. The actors did a great job. But, another negative I have is there's one scene where it's the most cliche thing ever. I was a little pissed at this point, but I kind of like, what? How realistic is this part? So there's a part where Tyler, he gets upset, so he goes after his girlfriend. And, of course, right when he walks into the party, oh, what happens? Oh, boy. The girl goes up with a guy up the stairs, and it looks like they're about to have sex. And I'm like, what? What are the chances he walks in there and that happens? Like, at the exact time he walks in. Like, oh my gosh. I know that was timing from the director because most movies do that, but it's cliche as frick. Like, what are the chances you walk in and that happens? Like, that is the most corny, stupid thing. Like, I freaking swear. That happens in so many movies. Like, like, bro, you could have done that scene a little differently. You could have had him, like, maybe wait a minute he goes in. Or maybe, he walks into the bedroom and he's kissing. I don't know. You could have done that scene differently. It just was off-putting. The whole movie was phenomenal, and that part was just off-putting. I'm like, huh? What are the chances you walk in and that happens? Like, well, realistically, that wouldn't happen. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. And I guess another criticism I have is some of the second half of the first half of the movie is utter epicness, utter phenomenally. But the second half, it just feels like it's repeating some of the first half. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. The second half of the movie is also really great. The first half is just better, in my opinion. The first half with Tyler is, like, epic and tense and gripping and just emotionally driven. But once you get to the Emily part, it's kind of like you've been so emotionally connected to Tyler that it's hard to get emotionally connected to Emily, like, too. But you do get it. It's just the second half isn't as strong as the first half, in my opinion. It's just the movie is unbalanced at points, but it's also awesome as frick. You give it a pass because it's so freaking well crafted. You don't really care, but it's like I feel like there's just some elements in the movie that were, how do you say? The second half could have been done better. I mean, we should have had Emily gone to Tyler and had a little conversation with him. There's things I would have done differently with the film to make it even more emotionally powerful and more epic than it was. But I'm not just crediting Trey. Trey did a great job with this movie. He's a phenomenal filmmaker, but I just would have done some things differently, because the second half just isn't as strong because, it's just feel like you kind of get that sense, oh, is something bad going to happen to her too? Like, you get that sense, and it's like, because the whole first half of the movie is insane, so the second half isn't just as insane as the first half, which I get why, because we had to focus on her character, but, it's whatever. It's just nitpicks. But regardless, guys, regardless of the negatives, regardless of the nitpicks, I still thought this was an awesome movie. Definitely one of the best of the year. But unfortunately, it didn't make my freaking top 10 list. I'm sorry. It's in the top 20 film of my year. But it didn't even make it to the top 10. I don't even think it's better than Godzilla King of the Monsters. So, that's kind of sad. But it's on par with King of the Monsters, though. When I'm saying a movie is on par with Godzilla King of the Monsters, a movie I love to bits, that is saying a lot because I love Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is on par with that. So, I'm going to get a 9.5. Let me tell you guys, this movie is utter epic phenomenal. It's just a great movie, bro. It's just epically great. I don't know what more you want me to say. It has its nitpicks. It has its cliche stuff. Some of the parts feel unbalanced, and then yada yada yada. I gave it nitpicks, but who freaking cares, bro? Waves is still an awesome movie. I mean, regardless of what you think, I mean, most people can agree. Waves is an awesome movie. So, thank you all for watching, and soon I'll be reviewing Honey Boy and Marriage Story, the long-awaited Netflix film, which I'm going to be watching in a bit. So, thank you all for watching. Tatum Meister is signing out. Bye-bye.